Hello. Good evening. It's 7 p.m. I've been legitimately lethargic. I've been sort of lethargic all day. I woke up, I got some work in for my real job. I mean, my other job, and then I laid in bed so much and I just slept and I was just really, really lethargic all day and just couldn't, I was like, get up. So we're gonna have what British people call a cuppa. We're gonna have a cup of tea. Does anybody else have this thing where it's like you have high standards and you really want to do a good job, but when you actually start to get close to success, you start to feel like a little bit of like shame or like resentment towards yourself? That's probably something really, really basic in psychology, but I don't know what that is. Is it like a fear of being seen or what? But I feel like I've been like, wow, I'm getting so close. And it's like now it's getting embarrassing. I don't know, but that's that self-sabotage. I feel like I said before, like I always feel like this tension right before I get to the end of something, even back at school, like right before it was like, okay, my assignment's almost done. Now I'm freezing. That's one of my worst qualities when it comes to my job. So we're gonna fix that right now. We're not gonna do that this time. Or I don't know if that's like I don't even know. Neurodivergence, I have zero idea, but anyways, we're going into the project. So what I did after actually when I finished that video, like my last video, I took a bit of extra time after and I started putting some more sources in. So these are all the sources that I think are gonna go into the hippocampal sharp wave ripples and timing. I'm not looking forward to this part. This part is about to be so annoying and time consuming. Maybe not, but what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through some of these texts and I'm basically just gonna find like the little bullet points that could be relevant. No idea what I'm gonna talk about today. I'm not like I have nothing on my mind. I've literally just been straight up lethargic. So I feel lethargic still. Hopefully my tea kicks in. But oh my god. Jose! Jose! Stop, 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 stop. That's not yours. I've been rewatching The Nanny recently. So I swear I think I'm so lethargic exactly because I'm like, oh my God, this is such a massive task. This is so massive, and I'm kind of lazy to do it. But okay, I've been watching stuff recently. I've been watching The Nanny. I want something new to watch, but I think I'm gonna watch something. I don't know. I'm thinking I might put in all the PTSD related things actually first. I don't know. This is so massive. Wait, I am actually getting excited. I am fine. What was I talking about? Oh my gosh. I sometimes when I'm like, oh man, this is so tiring. And then I feel like I get like another wind of motivation because I read my text and I'm like, I'm so right. What am I talking about? I'm so right about all of this. Like, I really got it. Like, I know what I'm talking about. It's kind of this is the thing is that it's kind of overwhelming. I think like it's overwhelming to do something well or to put something new into the world because you have to change then or like your life has to change, you know? Like then your life has to really change because you did something new. I don't think I ever fully feel like fully ready for that sometimes. Or I just get overwhelmed like, "Whoa, this means that my life has to change." That's why if I'm looking at it from a magical thinking perspective, I think that's why everything in my life, all of the big changes in my life have happened in like a random massive rush. Nothing worked out till the last minute, like literally day of, or like in some really random way just slipped into my life. Like it's never just like, okay, I'm working on it over an extended period of time and then it's done. Like everything major that has happened in my life has been like me being like, oh my God, is it gonna happen? Is it gonna happen? And I'm like, I'm to the point of desperation, and then it slips into my life. I'm like, oh, okay, it worked out. Like even my my visa when I was moving to the UK, it didn't come until literally the night before I had to leave. Well, it actually came. I just couldn't find it anywhere. I was calling the visa people and I was like, where is it? It said it delivered. And we kept trying to find it. And it was instead of being in my old flat, my old apartment, my dad's apartment, it had sent to my friend's apartment. I didn't even know that was on me, but I feel like okay, I feel like that's an example of how everything in my life feels like it's never just me putting in steady work and then bam, it's done. So I think that might happen with this one because there's no deadline or anything. It's just me working. But usually things happen in this really last minute way because in every other situation where I've had to this is sounding like ADHD so bad because I do have that. But like in every other situation where it's like, okay, there's a deadline and I'm like, okay, I'm steadily working. I'm like, great, I'm doing it. I can't believe myself. And then I freeze. I completely freeze, and then I'm like, "Oh my god, what?" It's like I feel like once it even though I'm like, I have everything here, it is not that hard, you just have to finish it. Like, I feel like I get overwhelmed by the change. That is ADHD, never mind. You see my ADHD, like, I'm very consistent, as you can see, like, I'm very persistent, consistent. I don't have trouble doing my stuff that I need to do overall, but the ADHD comes up in stuff like that, where it's like, what are you do? Just finish it. Like you're fine. Just you're like it's literally like you're at the home stretch, and I just like stop. I'm not doing that this time, so I don't know why I'm acting like I'm doing that, but usually that is the case for me. But this time around, I'm like I've been impressed by myself. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of wonder if I'm like growing out. No, I don't think I am growing out of my ADHD. I don't think it works like that. Maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe my actually, you know what? I think my adult brain is just like I think my brain is just developing a little bit. Like I had teenager brain and now I'm growing into adult brain. So I think that's probably aiding my life significantly. I don't think mine was even as severe. But I definitely have it. I just think it wasn't as bad until yeah, I don't know. I think yeah, maybe it wasn't I think I just learned to manage it. Like I think I was like, okay. But anyways, okay, that's everything I want from this one for this. And I also put it up here in some of the PTSD stuff. Anything that would be relevant to this section, I put here. This whole sheet looks very messy. Actually, I could make everything like one thing. What's really annoying is that you see all of this text right here that I put that has like to do with the sharp wave ripples. This is how it's gonna get like it's gonna get crunched down like crazy. Like for example, let me show you this stuff right here. I'm just gonna make something up. Obviously, it's not gonna be like this. You see all this? What it's really gonna look like at the end is something like sharp wave ripples. I'm just gonna make something up. You okay? Let me show you. You see all this like I'm gonna take like three of these, like from a bunch of different texts that all say the exact same thing, and then it's all just gonna turn into one sentence like the consolidation process is important for processing trauma, which is why sharpwave ripples being impaired can hinder the process. And then I'm citing Joe, Bob, Larry, Susan, like everyone's getting cited. So it's kind of funny because you see all this, it's probably gonna be like, I don't know, maybe a paragraph max, and it's gonna be interweaved with like a lot of other people. So it's kind of funny, but this is just like all of this that you're seeing is going to get crunched down significantly. I learned a lot just from reading a lot of academic articles. Just in general, I think that taught me a lot about writing for science. People, yeah, it's just yeah, you just learn how to I'm just going to emulate, you know. I want to say like obviously when it comes to my writing process, that's where ChatGPT is thrown out the window. No ChatGPT for this, okay? You've seen me in my other ones. I've used ChatGPT to help me figure my method out. I've used ChatGPT to ask questions. I've used ChatGPT to help me write, help me cite. For this part right here, this has got to be all me. Like ChatGPT in the trash. We're not using it for any of this because that's at that point you're getting into academic dishonesty mode, and that's not what I'm going to do. And also just for the joy of writing, I like writing. I've actually been excited to write, and I've been excited for this part. No ChatGPT, even a little bit. You will see I'm not going to use a touch, and I highly recommend that. I might have it read over my stuff, but absolutely it's not going to like, you know, be like, what do you know what? I might not even do that. I have a meeting with somebody. I have a meeting with somebody finally to look over my work on like the 8th. So I want to have this a little bit prepared by then. I have plenty of time. And then that way they can look at my work and real people can look at my work because once I don't know, once it gets into the writing, you want to keep that really honest, I think, and just do that yourself. You don't I mean, ChatGPT is so new that who knows what I don't know, but I personally think that nobody should be writing anything for you when it comes to something like this. Okay, I'm gonna turn this video off and put something on TV and just copy paste because I don't really have anything to talk about, to be honest, and I don't want to get distracted. Okay, I'm also gonna start making a little list of certain concepts that I think I'm gonna make into sentences. So, for example, I have multiple texts basically talking about how interfering with the sharp wave ripples can have different impacts. That's really broad, but I'm gonna reorganize this after I'm done, but I'm kind of in a flow right now. So we're gonna make like a sentence bank. I don't know. We're gonna talk about so manipulating sharp wave ripples can have impact on memory. Again, that's very broad, but we have, for example, fear extinction. So basically what happened in this study, this is a very new and very, very promising for PTSD, but basically they found that these researchers did an experiment. They basically suppressed sharp wave ripples through this simulation thing that completely silenced the sharp wave ripples. And in silencing them basically the trauma, the fear persisted. They couldn't consolidate the fear. So sharp wave ripples are very important for consolidating fear. So I'm going to talk about that. Then we have the other one that I just read about. This was in the intro to a unified dynamic model for learning ripples. This is one of my important studies. It was like a computational model of sharp wave ripples. I need to find the actual study that they were referencing, but they referenced that in, I guess, in rats, basically they were able to change spatial preferences by stimulating reward centers during hippocampal replay. So when the brain was like replaying those little ripples during consolidation, basically if they were to if they were manipulated reward centers during that, the rats actually change the locations they like to go to. So if you mess with that process, you get change in memory. And then lastly, when they basically, in another study, when they intentionally suppressed interneurons, PV plus interneurons in the mouse hippocampus, there was a memory deficit. So this was CAR M 2012. This part feels like doing surgery. Actually, this whole thing has felt like doing surgery. Surgically going through each and every piece. So yeah, that's gonna be, oh, it's getting written. This is one thing. So manipulating the sharp wave ripples can have impact on memory. Usually if like during replay or if something is suppressed, you get a memory deficit, or you can change, like I guess you can change the sort of traces that are being made by stimulating reward centers during the replay. I feel like this process has made me kind of more of like a nerd, to be honest, because I've been geeking, like I don't know, like I get so hype about like science, and like I just feel like like these are like the coolest people on earth to me, and I just feel so grateful for like everything everyone has written. I'm like so hyped up by everything that I've read. I don't know. I just feel so much respect. I feel like so much respect for everybody that I've cited. Genuinely, like everybody that has written something that's going in my paper, I'm like, whoa, like they're like so cool, and like they've written so much cool stuff. And yeah, people are so smart. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I've been like kind of geeking out from the beginning of this. I've been like, whoa, scientists are so cool. Okay, you know how I said I'm learning a lot? I learn a lot from reading what other people do and just being like, oh, I probably should put that in. So this is a one that I read on basically a computational model of the CA3 to CA1. And they said we conclude the main part of the study with a comprehensive discussion of the biological plausibility of the model. I'm like, I should probably put that in too. That sounds like a really, really smart. That was a good idea on their part. I actually already have some ideas about what I want to put in the conclusion as well. So this is kind of my conclusion puddle, like muddy puddle of words. So I do need to include that probably, which is going to include probably something like this. Something I need to find is like, I don't know. I forget the terminology. I need to look back at ChatGPT for that. But it's like, are the waves in line with real waves? I don't know. I forget. I honestly forget like the terminology. I need to look back. But I just need to make sure everything's sort of in like in range for real sharp wave ripples. I need to discuss probably like extend how I extended the consolidation period. And yeah, I don't know, stuff like that I probably should include at the end, or yeah, I guess in I don't know, I guess in the conclusion section, maybe I should start with that, or is this going to be conclusion? Oh, methods, results. I should look and see how they wrote it in their paper and try to take inspiration. It's taking me like I feel like it's taking me all my brain power to do this, which is why I'm like exhausted outside of this. Like my laptop, it actually dies really quick. It's really an old one and it's refurbished. You know, it only lasts like a few hours, then you gotta plug it up again, like charge it. I feel like that's been kind of my brain. Like my brain is like, okay, you get like 4 hours of really, really intense and focused work, and then we're done. Okay, so actually these researchers, I need to this is I feel like you see, look at that low battery. We're Let me like really, really quick just organize this a bit because I'm getting overwhelmed by the messiness of this document. This is gonna be like really, really big and we're highlighting it. I'm just getting overwhelmed, I think in general. But conclusion. I'm making these literally massive because my brain is like, what's happening? It's a lot of information on a page, and there's like a lot going on. I actually am starting to feel sad. Like I feel like this is gonna be done soon, and it's been such a massive thing in my life. Like I think that sorry, really quick, that's the other thing. I woke up today and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna miss this. Like I think I am. Like I've been so obviously it's so immensely stressful. I think the reason it's been stressful and I've wanted to finish it is because I've had so much self-doubt and I just want to be like, okay, I'm confident, like I did it and it's done and it's good. But I'm actually getting sad because it's happening so quick. Like I'm actually almost done. And yeah, I don't know. This is such a little sweet period of my life, but also stressful and tiring. But just like, oh, I need to slow down and be with it sometimes, you know? Let's see, method. This was like the biggest thing of my life. But I've been thinking this was so random and surprising that I've also been excited because I'm like, life is so random. Like life is so like it takes you on these insane twists and turns. Why am I freaking neuroscientist all of a sudden running a computational model? And I didn't like I had this has nothing to do with who I was a few years ago. Like life will take you on the most absolutely unexpected turns. I never cared to move to London. Now I'm living in London. I've been living here for 2 years. Like, I don't know. Life is so random. So I'm like, I know that once I'm done with this, life will take me on some other extremely random adventure because that's just my life. My life has been intense, but it's definitely been an adventure so far. Like, the most intense of adventures. I genuinely never know like what to expect next. It's so random. Okay, this is a thing. This wait, sorry, last thing, but I'm just like so many reflections today. This literally took me less time than my real research study that I was an actual research assistant at. Probably because that one I wasn't just doing intense amounts of work every day on, but I was doing that study for like, I don't even know, like 2 years or something. And this has taken me like I started this like right like maybe like 2 3 months before we actually finished up the very last bit. It actually didn't take that long once we got into it, but I will say I'm kind of shocked. But anyways, okay, so this is in one of the studies I read, the same one about oh wait, that's not the right one. Okay, so the same one about that computational model, they actually have like a something actually kind of similar to, or they were trying to basically read out the stored information of their computational model, I guess to see the kind of cells or something that I don't know, like with the memories they had made of place cells of stuff. I need to see like were they successful in that? I'm assuming, and how did they do it? Because that's the part that I've been the most stuck on. I mean, obviously I did it already to a certain degree, but I don't feel very confident about it, and I'm working on that part right now like a lot. So that's the part that I've been the most sort of like, okay, how do I is this right? And if they did it already, then I should see how they did it and how that looked. so that I can get like a sense of if mine is like really insane or like did I do it right, you know? Okay, we're gonna go back to this text again. Not sponsored, not sponsored, but everybody, just kidding. But this text is so actually so good. Every time I look at this again, like what they did was so cool and just so like whoa. Yeah, this is one of my I think this is one of the texts that I learned from the absolute most throughout the entire thing. Like I feel like in terms of obviously like I emulated a lot about their model because they did it so well. And then also that's insane. Yeah, I don't know. Just the whole thing. I'm like, I'm not even like obviously I'm no expert. I haven't even looked at that many computational models, but I thought like it just seemed really, really good. I was like, whoa, that's really cool and really important and really relevant. So I'm gonna keep plugging them. You know, everyone go follow. No, just kidding. But this is actually a really good study. And yeah, I'm also have been really inspired. Also, I've been really inspired by the way that they've been writing because I'm doing like a similar, like adjacent thing. So I've been learning a lot from what they did. I want to everybody like I feel bad because I've been obviously I'm not like, you know, they're gonna be how many like they're the amount of times they're probably gonna be cited is gonna be insane. But they've also just like the language that they use and stuff was like it taught me a lot about how to write this paper. So for example, uh, I'm gonna actually copy paste this into my maybe my conclusion. Not as I'm gonna copy this, but this is the kind of language that I should be using to talk about my own. Uh, and like for example, this is consistent with anatomical findings and with experimental observations of replay in CA1 that is deafferented. I actually don't know how to say that word from CA3. Look at that. The kind of language that I should be using in my conclusion as well. I'm gonna link this below in case anybody is interested. I actually have a discount code below. Go use that if you want to look at the study. Just kidding, but it is a really good study in case someone is randomly extremely interested in a unified dynamic model for learning replay and sharp wave ripples. It's in the bio below. It was a great study. I just feel bad because I've learned so much from them, emulated so much, and used so much. I'm like, I feel bad. Like, no, everybody go read this one. It was a really, really, I just feel kind of bad, but yes, they taught me a lot. Okay, anyways, I feel like I'm building on what they're doing. You know, that's what I hope it's like. Like, I hope it's not like I don't know, it's my first time doing like like real science. I'm like, I don't know, like, is it weird that I'm kind of building off their thing? But I'm building off of what they did. Like, they did it first. I feel like I'm just adding on top of like their work low key because I feel like they really did a good job of doing all that and they already had the rules and everything. Obviously mine's not the same thing, but I don't know. I feel like they were like I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm hyping them up so bad. I just feel bad because they were like the inspo for this whole thing. Okay, we're gonna have a mini pivot for like 2 seconds. I was gonna do this, like I was already planning on it, but I actually have I've been recording, keeping videos of a video of me trying to figure out the last piece of the arousal sort of tagging stuff, like what gets encoded. And I've just been filming and it hasn't ended because I don't know how to do the last piece and I've been sort of stumped. Um, but as I've been reading these texts, it actually has been coming together a little bit. Like I've been seeing like chunks from different texts. I'm like, oh, I missed that the first time around, but maybe this time around it'll be relevant. So, and a new text I've read. So I'm gonna share the screen and we're gonna try to find a little bit more like information. My brain is not working today at all, but I'm so tired, like actually. But anyways, basically I've been trying to figure out how to do the arousal tagging. So something like how does a brain learn during high arousal and how might that impact the sharp wave ripples? Because I'm looking at that U-shaped arousal thing. I've read some things recently that I think are important. So I'm going to show you what that is and we're going to try to find text related to that. So first of all, so ACH basically it alters excitability, network excitability, and favors plasticity at one set of excitatory synapses over another because, okay, um, an emerging view indicated that ACH increases interneuron firing rates either directly or via activation of these things and increases spontaneous GABA release. I thought maybe for some reason I thought it could have something to do with GABA release because I think I asked ChatGPT at one point, like, why is this trauma effect happening? Like, why? Because this is the thing is that in one of the rat studies, actually, it said that when the ACH was going up too high, usually ACH would be combined with like an increase in excitability. But when it got too high, the excitability was actually like it stopped going up higher. And then once they were like they left, it was depressed. Like the synapses were depressed. I think that had I was asked like I asked like why is that? And I think one of the reasons, if I'm not wrong, it was hypothesizing these different things and it, I read the same thing that ChatGPT said in another text. But one of the things is that it could be that the stress chemicals are going up too high, and so then everything is getting, what's the word, suppressed. And as I've been reading, we're gonna go to ChatGPT, and I'm gonna pull up some other texts. There is a lot of different, so I've been reading a lot of different things that could contribute, which we're gonna put together here. A rat study that had increased like a lot of stress, like what's the word? Chronic stress, and it was giving the reasons. Again, I think ChatGPT just like sometimes I think it just pulls from text, but this was the exact reason that it said why. I asked it one time because one of the main things I used ChatGPT for was just as like to ask it questions like why is this happening? Why is that happening? In certain like discussion sections. Like, can you explain that a little bit more? And I asked it at one point why it was that the stress was going, the ACH, the stress was going up. No, my brain, I'm so brain foggy today. The ACH was going up, and because it was going up, after a while, it was up so high that the enzymes like it was decreased, but the enzymes were increased, something like that, or it basically couldn't my brain, it couldn't replenish those enzymes, particularly choline. And because of that, okay, so basically this paper said the same thing ChatGPT said. So basically it could just mean that the system is exhausted and it takes some time for it to recover. So it basically implies that there was more ACH at first. I had this whole conversation in one of my old videos. I don't remember which one, but you can go see what we talked about. And this was interesting though. ChatGPT didn't say this. Alternatively, longer recovery time may serve to keep the system conditioned longer so that within the time interval, it is able to respond immediately and properly to another period of stress. So that's pretty interesting. Like if the stress is going up all the time, well, your body just learns that, well, maybe stress is just going to be happening all the time, so I should make sure that I'm ready for stress. I definitely want to discuss that. So let me put these things in to my paper. I think this might be a more precise part of my project than I expected. Just like there was a switch where I was like, oh, these things are getting suppressed to like, oh, ACH is doing it. I think this is going to be another one of those moments. But they talked about excitability as well. My brain hurts so bad. I'm tired, very tired mentally recently. It's evident that chronic stress, okay, here. So it is evident that after chronic stress, the hippocampal cholinergic system undergoes major changes and thus probably may be an important part of a neuronal network in the brain, which provides for the plasticity in response to stress. During stress, then the system adapts by reaching new steady states of activity. And then following periods of stress, recovery must occur. Well, I was talking about all this already, but I think this is going to be my reasoning as to why I'm making certain choices. So I was going to look for text. I might just leave this for a minute, but this will definitely be my reasoning behind certain choices that I'm about to make with my network. Like, my defense. Because basically what should happen is that I should make it so that in the more prolonged stress one, though that's complicated because I need to make sure that that's even appropriate and biologically accurate, it should be emulating this effect to a certain degree. And if I can have it emulate this, then I'm on the right track. So we're going to come back to that, or We don't have anything to ask ChatGPT about anyways. I forgot what I was even gonna ask ChatGPT about because I'm tired. So, but some things I could read about, some more about synaptic excitability. My brain is so tired. I can't even believe. I actually thank God that I didn't get into like a really intense program, partly because I'm brain dead right now. I'm brain dead. I can't imagine going in and doing like 4 days a week of classes, like doing like a placement, all this stuff. Like I feel really brain dead. What the hell? I think it's mad because I'm on a VPN. Okay, we're gonna stop being in Canada now. I was just in Canada so I could watch The Nanny. You know what? My sister and I we accidentally do things at the same time without like realizing it. Like or we have had multiple conversations. This is really weird. We've had or not it's not that weird, but we've had multiple conversations about like middle school, high school, where I'm like she tells me I show her something or I tell her something and she's like, "Oh, I actually did the same thing, but in middle school." And it was like really like stuff that's like we were probably literally looking at it on the same day because it was a response to like certain social media stuff, whatever. I'm like, I bet you, well, I know my sister's working hard on her career right now. Watch, we're about to do the same thing at the same time somehow. I feel like my sister and I have been working. We have been on it, like really working hard on our stuff. So I bet you my sister's like whatever the this version of this is for her. I bet you she's doing it right now somehow. Okay, we're gonna read a lot about this, and that's probably gonna be like a missing piece, I think. Control over stress, but not stress per se increases. Interesting. Well, let's make sure we put it in hippocampus as well. For some reason, I love the aesthetic of Google Scholar, and you might be saying what aesthetic? It has none, but I just feel happy when I'm on Google Scholar for some reason. You see, I'm becoming like nerdier. Like I'm becoming genuinely like a nerd over time. Like, what do you mean you like the aesthetic of Google Scholar? But I guess that's where we are in life now. It just like it gives me a dopamine hit to open Google Scholar at this point. Oh, this is random. Lost memory. Oh, wait, this is actually crazy. I wonder if this will be useful. Okay, I'm not gonna question. I'm just gonna download. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys something insane. So, okay, this is what's actually genuinely insane. I believe I'm a massive believer in fate and that maybe our subconscious mind knows where to go subconsciously all the time. In my undergraduate thesis, my comparative literature and societies thesis, okay, I had never in my life heard of a computational model. I had no idea you could make one. I had no idea you could put anything brain adjacent on a computer. I did not know about neuroscience. I was struggling so hard to finish it because I was like, I feel like this is going off the rails and I feel like I don't know how to put this together. And I'm like, this is like, how do I incorporate this into my thesis? But why is this what I want to talk about? I went on like a 2-page little like segment where I was trying to make a metaphor for the brain, how dissociation works, comparing it to a computer. Isn't that so random? Like I started to talk about I was like this doesn't make sense yet. They forced me to turn it in last minute. But there was a period of time where I was like, okay, just put all of your ideas down on paper and we'll make it work. Like we'll incorporate everything. I need to find it. I have to look at like the old versions of my paper, like old Google, like old versions, like the old versions on Google like what? Google Word. Like I don't know what it's called. My God, my brain is not working today. Google Docs. But I wrote like a 2-page thing on how like a metaphor for dissociation based on computers. Like I was like, you can't have too many tabs open. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I completely forgot about that. Went on, then learned about computational modeling, wanted to put dissociation on compared like on a computer, and now I'm here. And I had never heard of computational modeling before. Never. So that makes me believe in fate or that I was like destined to do this. Because that's so random. It was for my comparative literature and societies degree. So kind of crazy. I was like, I want to make a computer related dissociation thing, and I'm doing it now. It's so strange. And I feel so bad for my past self because she was so confused. She was like, what was happening? I felt like a crazy person. I was like, I sound completely incoherent. It's like, no, you were just completely in the wrong place. Like, you literally had the most insane realigning of your life to do. Yeah, I don't know. That almost gives me like a stomach ache. Like, it's really, really weird that I did that. I was just like, yep. And then I'm like doing it now. Like, what? I didn't believe in fate until I did this project. Then I started to believe in fate. I started to believe that we don't actually control anything in our lives and that we only have the illusion of control and that everything is like pre-planned for us. I have a very like, I don't know, I'm not going to go into all my theories. I have this theory of God and the universe and all of this stuff. It's like this big theory. It's not a theory. It's like a awareness or sense. I don't know. Like I feel like everything, how do I put it? Okay, it's basically like if you know how everything in the world, like all of nature is like pre-planned in a sense. Okay, it's not, you could look at it that way. Like everything is already pre-designed. Everything comes up in patterns already. Like flowers come up in patterns and things. Like flowers don't control how they appear. I feel like in the same way, we because so much of our life is man-made, I think we don't see it this way, but like I think that a lot of our life is actually like a pattern. Like it's already a pre-designed pattern that like everything is already energetically like in a pattern or in a flow. Like almost like fractals. I feel like I don't know how to put like how fractals are very like detailed and things. Like they have like a like let's look up a fractal. Math and science and God to me are like interconnect. Like they're like the same thing. Just because I believe that everything like there's a scientific reason for everything, but I'm like to me I see God and math and science like almost the same thing. Like I see God as like the plan or God as the design and the fact that there's a design that we just surrender to in the world and like we have no control over it. It doesn't mean I see God as a person. I see God as like the design, you know? Anyways, I feel like there's our life, there's like a this got so like metaphysical. There's a version of this, but for our life. That's how I feel. And I feel like we don't actually control it. We feel like we control it, but I think we just follow it. Like there's like an energetic sort of current going on in our life and we just follow it like I think we control things, but I don't think we actually control things. This project made me feel like that. Because right now, where I am right now, it's almost like how in like the fractals and stuff they like extend outwards. One time when I was in therapy, this is getting real metaphysical now. I don't know. Okay, one time when I was in therapy, basically my therapist told me, she was like, healing isn't like a linear path, it's a spiral sort of, and that you go up that spiral, and as you go up the spiral, basically you find yourself in like the same place again, but with more information. Like, like you hit a trigger again. It's not like you never get triggered again, but you hit the trigger again, and then you basically but this time you've grown and you've like expanded and so you have more information, so it's not like a line, it's like a spiral, and I love that. And I feel like for me my life has been like it's like you see these maybe I'm a crazy person. I see like a spiral in my life where I went to school, I like hit a trauma, I went up out and up, and then I had this like bump with the paper where I was like, okay, now I naturally want to start talking about dissociation and computers, right? Then it was like, okay, but that like fell apart. Then I left and I went healing and I went up the spiral and here I am again writing a paper on dissociation and computers. But with new information because I healed. So this time around it's like, okay, this time around like before I was like I'm rushing, I'm late, all this stuff. This time around, I feel early. I feel on time. I feel prepared. I feel in control. I feel all these different things. And it's like I lifted my energy to get to the exact same place, but on a different vibration, on a different wavelength, But that place was like meant to find me. Like it was a place that I was always going to be, but maybe in different energetic levels, if that makes sense. So I just feel like it keeps finding me. The computers and the dissociation wanted to keep finding me, but it keeps finding me in different energies and in different places of my life. Kind of weird, huh? I feel like the world is like a spiral or like the world is like a fractal. And I feel like our lives are fractals too. Like we end up finding people and like I don't know, like everything is planned and everything is in a design for us, but we can't see it. But I don't this is the thing, like I don't know why that should be crazy. I don't know why that should be weird because if everything else in nature is that way, why should we not be that way too? And why should our lives not be the same way? You know? Just because we're conscious of the fact that it's like that we're alive doesn't mean that that spiral still isn't there under the surface that we can't see. But like just like a flower is already like planned. Oh my gosh, this is getting so deep right now. Just like a flower, I didn't mean to talk about this. Just like a flower or like a snowflake is already designed, why should our lives naturally not be designed as well? And like in energy, and like our energy is just taking us everywhere. You get me? That's why this project made me believe in fate so hard. I didn't believe in it before. So interesting. But to me, that's why I'm a big believer in God. But again, I feel like God is just source, and God is just the source of the design to me. And I don't care if that's a deeply scientific source. There is a deeply scientific source maybe, but I'm just gonna call it God because I feel like it's something that we'll never fully understand and that we always are gonna keep trying to reinterpret, re-understand it. Like and like, it's like we can know that there's some kind of like we can know that there's some kind of scientific source, but we'll never know what that source is. And like that's kind of the part to me, where it's like you can never, God is always going to be something bigger than you can understand. You know, why are we getting so deep right now? God is always going to be like that place that we can never really reach. Like, we're always going to be adding science, but we can never reach the source 100%. I think we can try, but I don't know. I feel like there's always going to be more that we don't know because God, like the world is so much bigger than us and we can never fully comprehend the full design. And like, I feel like worship is just surrender. Like, I feel like that's why I started to believe in God. I was like, I'll just keep surrendering to the design, surrendering to the fact that everything is larger than me, surrendering to the fact that I don't have as much control as I think, even though I feel like I do. And that's the thing is that I feel like when you're really secular, like I don't know, when I was really secular, I feel like I felt like I had a lot of control over my circumstances. And then I think that's maybe why a lot of people, after you go through trauma or something, you start to believe in God. That was the case for me. But I was like, so much is beyond my control, so much is beyond my grasp. But if I believe that it was purposeful, then it starts to grow into something in my life. And I feel like a lot of people get that sense, right? It's like, if I believe that this trauma has a purpose, it will have a massive purpose. And mine has had a massive purpose. But if you believe it's purposeless, it's like, what do you do from there? Just life seems so strange. I think that's why a lot of people start to believe in God after they go through a negative experience or they need support, they need help. Like you start to surrender more. And in surrendering, I feel like life just grows for you rather than feeling like you have to control everything. You're like, wow, I'm so small and they're so much bigger than me. I don't know. That kind of stressed me out. I feel like I'm just tired. I don't know. I'm tired today. But yeah, I feel like that's why I'm like, you can just call it anything. I don't care. I don't care what people call it. I don't care if they want to call it God. I don't care if they want to call it source, the universe, science, math. Like it's all the same thing to me. I feel like every religion understands the same thing, and not one of them grasps it 100% at all, not even science. I feel like God is bigger than every religion. And it has like pieces of every religion, but I don't know. Not not one of them encompasses everything because that's just every single system of us trying to understand the world is like it's just humans trying to understand something beyond them and like we can never do it perfectly. It kind of reminds me of Michael Graziano's Rethinking Consciousness, how he talks about how even well in his theory he says that that consciousness is just like our us holding a lot of it. How do we put it? Consciousness is just like this packet of attention and our awareness of our attention in like this really deeply rooted way and how our attention works, and not the best explanation but something along those lines. And that even if we know that it's not real, so it's not like, for example, let's get the book out, let's actually get the book out one day. I swear I'll get this book signed. You see, I've become like a massive nerd, it's crazy. But this was the first neuroscience book I ever read. It was so good. One day I'll get this book signed. It's got all my little highlights in it. This book is like a relic for me now. It took me down the craziest portal of my life. Anyways, let's find it. I actually feel like it's weirdly making me emotional. Like, what the heck? I literally read this book and now I'm doing this. Like, what? I read this literally like a year ago, no lie. Like, probably a year and a half. It's an amazing book. If people are like not neuroscientists at all, like you don't have any knowledge, like this book is so well written. It's so easy to understand, I would say. It's a really, really good first neuroscience book, and it goes through so many different important topics. I highly recommend it in general. I'm actually gonna link it below in case anybody's like super interested. It's actually pretty short. Again, it's like a really it's actually a fun read. Like he puts in a lot of really fun sort of examples and things, and it's just yeah, it's really, really good read for anybody who's like just got like a casual interest or maybe hasn't read anything about neuroscience before, or honestly, if you even if you're like really into it and you just haven't read this book, like it's a super cool. The theory is also really cool. Like his theory of consciousness is so compelling. I actually really liked it, but I need to read more so then I know if I mean, I think it's really, really good. So I might reread it when this is done because it gave me a lot of ideas actually. And I think that now that I have a lot more knowledge, I think I would enjoy it even more. Okay, so here we go. So my colleagues and I have called, okay, so they have a hypothesized internal model called an attention schema. In parallel to the body schema that helps monitor the body, an attention schema is a bundle of information that describes attention, not the object being attended, but attention itself. So just being aware of the fact that you have attention or that yeah, you're your attention in general. Um, It monitors the state of attention, keeps track of how it can change dynamically from state to state, and predicts how it may change in the next few moments. I'm so tired today. I feel like I'm not going to explain this as well, but he actually goes into a lot of different animals and how their attention works and why he thinks that this is the case. Essentially, like how his model sort of uh, connects to other models. So basically, the idea is that the attention schema, so that awareness of your attention, so it's not that just that the frog puts its attention on objects in the world, but also it kind of it knows that it's doing so. So it has information about its own attention. So it's kind of like this really, really deeply, again, I'm so tired today. I don't feel like I'm even going to explain it as well, but it's almost like a really deeply sort of rooted awareness of the fact that we have like attention and that our attention is doing things. But in animals, usually that's only an awareness of overt attention. So attention on things going on sort of outside or in your body. But in humans, that also can extend to covert attention. So that's like things going on in our mind and sort of like our thoughts or feelings and stuff. I think, if I'm remembering that right. But anyways, why was I mentioning this? The reason I was mentioning this is that he thinks this is like the source of our consciousness is almost like this packet of like this sort of awareness or this attention on our attention or this sort of deeply held awareness of our attention. So in a sense, consciousness isn't like it's not like a soul. Like it's not like this actual it's essentially just attention. I'm not explaining this well. It's essentially just our awareness of our own attention and just the fact that we have it rather than being some sort of like, you know, like a piece of our brain. Like, some people are looking for trying to figure out why consciousness exists and they're looking for like, is there some part of our brain that's creating the consciousness? Or, a lot of people, for example, in like metaphysical sort of subjects think we have like a soul and like what makes up our soul, and he's basically saying that we don't have anything like that. Obviously, it's just a sort of awareness of our attention, but it's really, really deeply rooted. Like it's a very primitive thing, and essentially, just for example, even if we knew that we like, even if we know that it's not really real and it's just this really deeply rooted attention on our attention, like it doesn't really take away our feeling of being or our feeling of being conscious. Like it's so deeply rooted that it's really hard to undo. It's like, this really deeply rooted awareness. There's a lot of theories. There's a lot of different theories of consciousness. I need to read more of them so that I know like what do I think essentially. But I thought that one was pretty cool, and it did lead me down this path of this project because I started thinking about dissociative identity disorder and all this stuff. So, but I don't know. I was thinking that in conjunction with the idea of science and God and like um just the idea that you can keep rooting down, and like that's kind of my problem with it's not my problem with science, but that's why I think even though I have like a sort of scientific sort of version of God that I see God as, I feel like I keep rooting down. Like you can keep rooting down and down and down, and there's always going to be something even deeper. There's always going to be something even like I don't I don't know, if you're like a physicist or something, that's probably like the worst thought in the world because I feel like physicists are always trying to find like this is like the thing. This is like the one equation that solves everything in the world. And it's like I feel like that's so impossible. And that's where God lies for me in this sort of also the awareness that just because there is a reason for everything doesn't mean that we'll ever find that reason. And there's always this sort of like metaphysically solely sort of element to the world and to our experience of being a human. Like you can keep rooting down forever and you never really know, like you never get to the bottom of it. Like it's always still just there is this sort of like, oh, we can't control anything sort of thing. And sometimes things completely unpredictable happen, things that don't really make much sense. Like why is that happening? Like why am I here right now? Why did I go from being comparative literature student to making a computational model? I don't know. Why am I here? Like it makes no sense. Like I feel like sometimes just really random stuff happens and it's just like how on earth did I get here? I don't know. This wasn't the plan. And I don't know, that's kind of like my relationship to spirituality. It's like I feel like the unknown is like where God is for me, you know? Okay, let me show you kind of my what I envision my next adventure to be. I'll probably do all sorts of other things after this. I don't know where God or where the world is taking me next, but I feel like this is just going to keep finding me in more upward spirals. You know, it'll keep finding me. This time I'll be at a job, but I'll still be doing the dissociation of the computers. And then it'll find me like at another and another and another level. But anyways, at the next level, like I feel like I really, really want to work on reconsolidation too, because how I'm going to conclude my paper or what I'm going to discuss in the conclusion essentially is that my theory is that obviously there's probably that initial period of dissociative amnesia in the beginning because the neuromodulators are like clamping the memory formation. But what I was thinking is that this is based on my life. When I would follow, I said in my hypothesis video, I've said before that I noticed that when I was falling asleep or when I was relaxed, things started to come up, and sometimes I would get fragments of memories, and then they'd just be gone again. Like they would just, I'd sort of see them for a second, and then I feel like I kind of would like wake me up, or I'd get a little bit anxious about it, and then it was just back into the vault, and I couldn't consolidate it fully. And I think that's going to come down to reconsolidation at the end of the day, because the thing is that actually it's not just one and done. It's not just we make one memory trace and then it's done. The memory traces keep coming up again for us to reconsolidate in and strengthen the information over time so that it's something that we remember for a long time. And then also we keep the thing is that once those traces get really strong, we can still reconsolidate them is the theory. So like let me bring it down here. So basically, studies done in the last decade demonstrated that the initial gene expression dependent phase required for memory consolidation is not the only one, and that if memories have become resistant to inhibitors and are retrieved, they once again become labile, sorry, for a limited time during which they can be reconsolidated. So basically, the memory comes up again and then it gets restabilized. And the thing is that I think, if I'm remembering right, this person was basically saying that the memory would come up again and you can almost everything comes back to fear conditioning too. I should mention that. But basically the memories can be reconsolidated with good things, or our memory is not just a one and done deal. Like obviously over time as well, our memories are always changing. And this is something that's really interesting that we're just writing everything right now. I'll come back to where'd he go? Is this gonna be my life? This is insane. What? This is crazy. Let's see how this all goes, but I feel like this is gonna be my life. Probably. Like I'm just gonna keep doing this, but anyways, where did it go? Body keeps the score. Is that it? I'm not gonna be able to, or let's try to find it, but essentially what he said is that actually when something is traumatic, what was it? I read multiple studies that I need to find. Basically, it said when something is traumatic or when something like it almost is too subject to change. Or no. Opposite. It's too encoded or it's too strong. It's too vividly like. Let me search the word vivid and see if I find it. Okay, well, it says it in a few places. Memories for intense emotional events are often vivid and detailed. This is what he was trying to say, that I need to hunt it down again, which is really annoying. But basically he was saying that usually the thing is that once memories that were not traumatic were actually more subject to like a little bit of like error, or because that's the thing, is that the memory traces for people with PTSD were like very, very like overly encoded, overly vivid. But then, for example, he talks about the difference between a traumatic memory and a flashbulb memory. So flashbulb memories are basically memories that people make of really, really difficult collective events. So, for example, 9/11. And the thing about collective flashbulb memories is that everybody thinks that they are people. They're like, oh, you'll never forget where you were 9/11, whatever, right? Like, oh, you could never forget something so intense. But actually, flashbulb memories are a little bit more subject to error. Meanwhile, individually traumatic memories of like, oh, I got into a car accident, or oh, I almost drowned, something like that, are actually very vivid and like really, really, really accurate too much. And basically, I think once it gets reconciled, this is the thing, is that your memories, I remember reading this as a kid and I was like, whoa, that's really trippy. Basically, your memories that you have, most of the memories that you have of your life, they change over time. Your memories change over time because you're constantly, I guess every time you remember something, you're actually remembering the last time you remembered it. I don't know if that's real, but I did read that when I was a kid and I was like, well, what? That means none of my memories are the original memories. I don't know if that was just some distorted version of this, but yeah, basically, once the memory is really in your long-term memory, it's actually a little bit more subject to change because you go sort of recontextualizing it over the course of your life. But I'm getting tired, not trauma memory. So, anyways, I want to talk about that, and I want to talk about how I think that the reconsolidation process is also like, if something can't, what was I going to say, can't reconsolidate, or maybe even after you can make initial like recovery of a memory, maybe it can sort of still go back under memory wise, like, oh, I remembered it once but I can't remember it again. Or that's why maybe you get a fragment versus like an encoded, a deep, like a more consolidated memory. Like, oh, I got a flash of something that happened to me, but I it's too arousing to reconsolidate. So you consolidate it once, but you can't reconsolidate it. So that's gonna go into my conclusion. I don't know, I'm getting a bit depleted, but I'm on my last little piece here. Yeah. So once this project is done, this is on the to-do list, but obviously I need all of my mental energy on actually just finishing this project, but I will be getting better at public speaking. That's my next thing. I need to cut out the likes and the ums and speak with more confidence. But I don't have time for that right now. Right now, you are getting the likes and the ums because I need max brain power for this. But once this is done, I just feel the relief I'm gonna have. Like, oh my God. I'm gonna sleep so good and I'm gonna hopefully go on like a real vacation at some point where I'm not working on this. I wanna go to like a beach. I've never been to like the Caribbean. I feel like every video now I just want to talk about going on a trip. I want to go because I just want to I just want to sit by a beach. Never been to like the Caribbean. I've never been to a resort before. I don't know, like usually when I travel, it's like a very cheap trip. I'm staying at like a hostel. I used to think resorts were kind of lame. I was like, that's so like you want to be in like with the real world. And I'm like, I don't know. Recently I've been seeing videos of people at like an actual resort. I'm like, you know what, it does not look that bad. I was like, drink like a little drink with like a umbrella in it, like a paper umbrella. That's what I'm manifesting at the moment. Please, God, give me a little drink with a little umbrella. I'm so exhausted. Oh yeah, I don't think I need all this experiment information. This is one of those things where it's just gonna get crunched down to something about temporal something, brain temporal something. I don't know. My gosh, no, I can't even speak. I'm too like I'm tired. What I think I'm gonna do next, which is really low key, I left one, my gosh, I need to go through the text and find these. I think I'm gonna go and basically just put the page numbers on each of these quotes, then they're just there. And then, well, I don't even need the page numbers. I don't think that, let's look at a study. I don't, page numbers is a big thing in terms in humanities usually, but I've not seen a single person use page numbers. So I think I just need to number them in terms of a reference page and then cite them, or I need to figure out how to actually cite stuff. I don't even know that. What's the norm? Like, what should I do? Oh, I'm tired. Okay, that's my last. I went, oh no! Oh no, I need to put the notes in for that. There's a lot of text where I need to put the notes in for them, essentially. But I kind of put everything in for now for this section, and this is gonna get really crunched down. And I still need to look at more, but that's like a good start, I think. And I'm genuinely so exhausted. Like every day I'm drained because it's also a really important time at my other job. And I don't even feel like I've been effective enough at that job, but it's been draining to be in an important time in multiple places of my life. And it's like I need max effort and energy for all those things. Okay, that's good for now. This document is getting kind of long. Okay, we're gonna leave. All right. This was a very random conversation. It's always a relief to be back in like the big camera because I feel like the little camera in like the side makes me look like a rat. Like I don't like how I look when it crunches me down really small. Like I feel like I look weird. So yeah, if you see me looking weird in like the little corner, don't look. Don't look. But okay, yeah, this was really random conversation. I didn't expect to talk about God for some reason, but I feel like that was like quite a bit of progress, and I still have so much to do. I have a lot of text to actually move in for my like I need to put the notes in for my documents, but it's kind of nice because now I feel like I know what I'm talking about, so I don't need to go through every single last word because I don't know what's going to be important. And all of this that you saw is going to start getting crunched down. And it's cool that I already started putting some sort of sentences together. You know what? Wait, let's pop on for one more second. You see, this was 3 hours of work, which actually the time flew. I didn't even notice that 3 hours went by, but it's kind of crazy. I feel like I'm just like, I feel like really just, I'm just doing this like a robot at this point because I don't even feel like mentally here anymore. I'm so tired. I feel like I always end up working more than I think I am. Like actually each of these videos, it's like usually a 1 hour long video is anywhere from like 3 to 7 hours of work condensed usually, or sometimes even multiple days of work. So I don't think I've noticed how much work I'm putting into this as well. Okay, I've definitely put like hundreds of hours of work into this in the last few months. Completely unpaid. Sentence bank. The next thing I'm going to talk about, which I'm not going to go into all the details yet, put them here, but the next thing is just going to be memory consolidation is time dependent. So we're going to talk here about the hippocampus and the role that it has in memory. Memory consolidation in like the first few days. And then probably like what is the point of memory traces? All right, that's it. I'm tired. I'm hungry. My brain feels like it's slowly, over time, your iPhone, the battery starts to like get worse and worse and worse to the point that your phone only has charge for a few hours. My brain is like really it's getting to that point, and yeah, I'm exhausted. So, bye.